Pokémon Legends Arceus is looking great. This is a new step for the Pokemon series. This game is more open world than any other Pokemon game before it. In this video, I will be breaking down the latest trailer for Legends as well as giving my thoughts on what everything means in terms of the game and the future of Pokemon games in general. So looking at the biggest things first, we have some more regional forms. Ever since Sun and Moon, Pokemon has been doing regional forms for all the new regions in Pokemon games. This time around, we got to see a new Growlithe and Braviary form for the new Hisui region. And personally speaking, of the two, I think Braviary looks the coolest. Although I would have preferred they did something with its back because it kinda looks like a skin chicken. We also have some potential generation changes, such as Pokemon getting gender differences as seen with this Shinx Pokedex entry. Next, we have some new evolutions. This is also something that Pokemon has been doing for a while, first appearing in the second generation with pre-evolutions, then later on down the line in the fourth generation, we had some Pokemon gaining evolutions. And for once, I'm actually happy about this because we aren't just getting more Gen 1 love. Stantler and Basculin got some new evolutions, and I'm happy with both, as I was sure Game Freak had forgotten these two even existed. But I'm so happy that these mons are getting some love, and I hope that in the full game, as we discover more and more of these regional forms and evolutions, more Gen 2 and Gen 5 Pokemon get some attention. Because with the Gen 4 remakes coming out, it is definitely time for Gen 2 and Gen 5 to get some love. From the trailer, we can see a few things. Firstly, we have Ride Pokemon returning. In the trailer, it seems that these guys are going to function similar to Ride Pokemon in Sun and Moon, replacing HMs and allowing you to access areas you can't walk to normally. I say this because in the trailer, we see that the Pokemon you ride on all have a special saddle similar to the Ride Pokemon in Sun and Moon, and they all have special abilities, with Stantler's Weirdeer evolution having a high jump and Basculin's evolution, Basculegion, having a water jump ability. We don't know if this special system is similar to the Ride Pager system, or if you can catch and saddle your own Pokemon with a special saddle item, but I'd say it's most likely the second option, going off of how open the game is. This game also has a slurry of new mechanics. So many, I don't know if I'll be able to get to them all. But let's start at the top. The battling system is different. This game takes pride in the fact that now there aren't any battle transitions. Instead, the battles happen seamlessly. Just like in Pixelmon, all you need to do is throw a Pokeball containing one of your Pokemon near a wild Pokemon to start a battle. In the trailer, it shows that you can have up to 3 Pokemon queued at one time. You can also choose to just throw an empty Pokeball at a Pokemon to try and catch it. This game's specialty Pokeballs also function differently from normal games. For example, the Heavy Ball now isn't based on the weight of the Pokemon, but rather if you catch them by surprise. Its throw arc and radius is also lower because the Heavy Ball is heavier than a normal Pokeball. This game also has a sneaking mechanic, similar to Sword and Shield, as now Pokemon spawn in the overworld and have differing reactions to the player, some running away and others attacking. This also ties into the new Blackout mechanic. In this game, the player will take damage themselves. Things such as falling off of cliffs and Pokemon are now able to damage the player directly. Hostile Pokemon won't wait for you to throw out your Pokemon, they'll just straight up attack you. Speaking of hostile Pokemon, we now have bosses which spawn in the overworld with a small in-game event. These guys are the real deal, and from their trailer, they look to be stronger and evolved versions of Pokemon found in the area. Now getting to the smaller gameplay mechanics, battling has been tweaked. Rather than going once per turn, based on speed stats or other effects such as Trick Room or Choice Scarf, you now have the action order. So things like the move being used, the user's base speed stat, and the new battle style mechanic now dictate when and how many times your Pokemon gets to move, with them moving slower and having fewer but more powerful moves in the strong style, or having more and faster moves in the agile style. I like this battle change as it allows for a more complex system than veteran players are used to, and it gives a more diverse playing experience compared to the rock paper scissors mechanic that we have right now. Finally, we have the towns and NPC interactions, as well as the Pokedex. This game seems to be heavily exploration based, so I doubt there will be a lot of towns, or as many as we're used to seeing in normal Pokemon games, like the wild areas replacing a majority of the routes in Sword and Shield. This game looks to have big and expansive wild areas with a few scattered towns here and there for story and plot development. The trailer didn't even show any Poke Centers or marts. Rather, there are base camps you can now visit to heal up or buy and craft items. The item system now has you collect materials to make items such as Pokeballs. And it even looks like if you black out either from taking too much player damage or some other means, you return to the last base camp that you visited. As for the NPCs and Pokédex, these two categories kind of work together, as simply catching a Pokemon in this game isn't enough to complete its Pokédex entry. Now you have to study them, doing side quests like missions, such as catching multiple of this Pokemon or having seen it use a certain move a certain amount of times, and discovering what food it likes, to complete the study on that specific Pokemon. Game Freak is being incredibly tight-lipped on a lot of story aspects for this game. Despite having a major role in the story, we haven't seen Arceus in game at all, and a lot of the story beats are being very well hidden. We have really only seen the starting village and one wild area. But the info we have consists of characters like Professor Lavender, Professor Rowan, and Cyrus, who totally isn't evil. Promise! I'd say that these guys have a major tie-in to the story, but I doubt it with how secretive Game Freak has been. I believe these guys will have a smaller role in the story. Well, maybe not Cyrus. She's definitely up to something. Okay, so this last part of the video is purely speculation and things I hope to see coming into the game. So it's time for me to make the "this is just Breath of the Wild but Pokemon" comparison. And yes, while it does seem this way, I'm actually excited for what this holds for the Pokemon series. This new direction for the game opens up a bunch of possibilities. It's like a soft reset for the series, giving us all the Pokemon we love, but also changing things in a way that keeps us familiar, but also gives us something new. And judging on how well this game is received, this could be the new direction that future Pokemon games take, having traditional games be a smaller focus. So feedback for this game in particular is going to be very important for Game Freak and Pokemon Company. With the current problems that we have that I hope are resolved, most of them are already fixed upon looking at the trailer. The game looks nice and big, so that automatically fixes the Sword and Shield problem of small routes and towns. And with how things work in this game, it seems that it's going to be a very long process to complete with all the things you need to do for each Pokemon and its Pokédex entry, and I'm assuming the many other side quests. I can see this game meeting the Breath of the Wild 60-hour completion time. I do have a few worries though. The difficulty of the game. This game looks like one that shifts the focus off battling a bit. I mean, some Pokemon you don't even have to battle to catch. This makes me worry that all the battles are going to be easy, which would make them boring for people like me. Game Freak has the tendency to make the newer games easier for new players, and I hope that doesn't continue here. This game seems like one made for older and more experienced Pokemon players, with it seemingly having less handholding. I understand they can't make a difficulty mode for the main series games because it would affect things such as wild encounters and Pokemon, and then we have the issue of linking up everyone's game so that wild Pokemon caught in easy mode transfers over to wild Pokemon caught on normal difficulty, and whatnot. But since this game seems like it would have limited online services besides trading, which we know is confirmed from the game, if the game is going to be made easy, I would love for a difficulty setting to be in place. In all of the trailers we have seen, I don't remember seeing a single trainer battle, which makes sense from a story standpoint as humans and Pokemon still live separated lives, and most people are terrified of Pokemon or know little of them. So if they aren't in the game at all, this makes me wonder if those boss battles will be a suitable enough replacement for them, as one of Pokemon's main mechanics is battling others. I am also really hoping that there is an online similar to the Sword and Shield online where you can interact and see other players on the main hub. Again, I understand that this game may be a solo experience, but having an online for this type of game would be very nice. But then again, I doubt it, because we've seen all trainer battles in the main story. So even if there isn't online, realistically it would only be trading. But seeing the new battle mechanics does make me excited for what could be done with this in a more competitive setting. In the trailer, we saw a unique interaction between the environments and the player, as when the player was riding the Basque Legion in the water to fight the Gyarados, they sent out their Crobat over the Rhyhorn or Lucario. I hope the game makes more of these interactions. Things such as not being able to send out grounded Pokemon when surfing, bringing an Ice type into a fire area makes it so that you take residual damage or do less damage with Ice type moves, similar to Sandstorm or Sun weather effects, stuff like that. I also would like to see something similar to Breath of the Wild's field effects where you need to wear the proper clothing when going into a certain area of the map. Something along the lines of having a fire type in your party with a certain ability such as Flame Body would keep you warm in an icy area. I also want your Pokemon to be able to follow you and have properties in the main world, like having a fire type out in a dark cave could help illuminate the cave, or many other stuff. Again, there are many other things that I would like to see, and I could list them on forever and ever, but we all get the idea.